Unit 10, Lesson 5, Mole-to-Mole Calculations. In a chemical reaction, the coefficients are used to balance the reaction, but they also indicate the number of moles for each compound and/or element. So here we have a balanced chemical equation of aluminum plus oxygen producing aluminum oxide. So how many moles are there of the following compounds? Well, how many aluminum elements are there? We would have 4 moles of aluminum. How many moles of oxygen? 3. And then how many moles of aluminum oxide? 2. So what is the ratio of aluminum to oxygen? Well, we would need to use our balanced equation above, and with our equation it says that for every 4 moles of aluminum we have 3 moles of oxygen. So there's our mole-to-mole ratio. So what about the moles of aluminum to moles of aluminum oxide? Here, using the formula above, we have 4 moles of aluminum, and we have a total of 2 moles of aluminum oxide. So those are our mole-to-mole ratio. I'm sure you're asking yourself, what or when will this be useful? Well, when you're doing a chemical reaction, a lot of times you will start out with a certain amount of reactant, and you kind of want to know how much product you'll actually form. And this is used all the time in industry, and a lot of times it falls under the theory of chemical engineering. And so if we look at this, and the question says, if you have 1.5 moles of aluminum, how many moles of aluminum oxide will be produced? Well, if all I have is 1.5 moles of aluminum, I now need to figure out how will I use my mole ratio of aluminum to aluminum oxide. Well, I want moles of aluminum oxide, so that's going to go in my numerator. And I want to know how many, and I know that I need to put moles of aluminum in the denominator to cancel it out. So now we look back at our equation and figure out how many moles do I have of aluminum in the balanced equation. I have 4. And how many moles of aluminum oxide? I have 2. So to do the math, we just take 1.5 times 2 divided by 4. So 1.5 times 2 divided by 4 gives me 0.75 moles of what? Of aluminum oxide. That is how much I can actually produce. So now we have a new chemical reaction, and we have hydrogen gas plus oxygen gas producing water. And so the question is, how many moles of water will be produced if we have 5 moles of oxygen? Well, I have 5 moles of oxygen to start with, and I need to figure out how many moles of water will I produce. So moles of water will be in the numerator, and then my moles of oxygen will be in the denominator. So using my equation, how many moles of water do I have? 2 moles. And then moles of oxygen would be 1. So we take 5 times 2 divided by 1, and I get 10 moles. 10 moles of what? 10 moles of H2O, because my oxygens cancel. Now, what if I knew I was going to be able to create 10 moles of water, but I want to know how many grams that would be? Well, I need to find the molar mass of water, which is hydrogen and oxygen. 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen, hydrogen with the mass of 1, oxygen with the mass of 16. So add that up, and I get 18 grams per mole. So what do? I take my moles, 10 moles, and I times that by 18 grams.